A part of Chainsaw Man's story which I feel has yet to be fully explored and developed would be the idea of contracts, how they function, what enforces them and what are the consequences of breaking a contract between a devil and a human. So far, we know that contracts have some kind of power to bind a human and a devil together in an agreement, which can have varying conditions baked into it. The forming of a contract seems to be as easy as forming a verbal agreement and can even be formed with someone who is unaware of the fact they are forming a contract or aren't in control of forming the contract. We have also seen that contracts can involve multiple different people, some being used as a contractor and the others being used as in no uncertain terms, currency for the contract. Hello and welcome, I am the Anonymous Weeb and I am here today to discuss what I believe contracts are, how they function and what it is that happens when a contract is broken. To start off with, what are contracts? I have the belief that contracts are more than a simple verbal agreement between a devil and a human, but rather a metaphysical bond which is formed between the human, the devil and whomever else might be involved in the agreement. Think of it as a chain being formed from the words of the contract, which wraps around and encircles all those involved. It pulls both parties, the parties which are directly involved, not those who are indirectly tied into the contract, to fulfill their ends of the contract, knowingly or unknowingly. They can strain against the chain but doing so risks breaking the contract, and I believe that invokes something that devils are at the very least aware of and they do not wish to find them the target of said being or things. A contract can be formed between a devil and a human, but as I stated before, it's possible to use others as a currency for the contract, as we have seen with both the Hell Devil and Makima herself. For these people, they don't feel the pull of the contract, rather they are perhaps a means of slackening the chain for the side of the human. As the contract pulls them towards the offering of lives to be fulfilled, they give over these other lives to prevent the contract from being broken. That's how I see it at the very least. I honestly hope we can all try and figure this out in the comments below, because I will happily admit to my own theories being wrong if someone is happy to present me with an alternative hypothesis, but for now this is what I've got. Moving on to more specifically how I believe the function on a more direct level, I believe that words, actual phrasing is more important than intent. These are devils after all. If I was to use the chain metaphor again, each link is made from a word in the contract. The more terms and conditions put into the contract and the more links get put into it, but at the same time the more brittle and easily broken the chain becomes. Which is why I believe a great many contracts are so simple, because the risk of breaking them if they become too specific, too direct. So once both the devil and the human have come to the agreement, the chain is then linked onto their souls, or whatever it is we can use for this example. I am just presuming that devils and humans have souls in this universe, although that might not be true, but for now let's just do that. Now moving on to what I believe happens when a contract is broken. Well, so far, we know that doing so is punishable by death. However, we have yet to actually see someone die because they broke a contract. To that end, we have no idea how this death occurs or why it occurs. Do they just instantly die? Is something sent out to kill them? Thus far we have seen contract either be manipulated to the devil's favor or be outright rejected by the humans. So, to this end I am left to speculate on the nature of this apparent death which comes for them. In my own personal thoughts, I believe the death to be immediate and seemingly without cause. Consider it this way: the chain shatters and on the side of whom broke the contract, the side which is connected to them is grabbed and yanked by an unseen hand, ripping their soul from their body, or in the case of the devil they are dragged back into hell, or maybe something worse happens to them. Now, how would this work? Most obviously would be that a devil which oversees contracts, just the very nature of contracts exists, and each time a devil makes a contract with a human, that contract devil is both empowered and is required to keep watch over it, to make certain that the contract isn't broken, or else they must deliver punishment, in which most cases would be death. I also believe that in order for devils to make a contract at all, they must invoke the power of this devil, thus they do not seek to kill it, because that could result in either all contracts being broken and thus them all dying, or just the contracts ending. which would obviously make the killer public enemy number one for a lot of devils which have contracts with humans on Earth, and the devil hunters would also likewise not take too kindly to this fact. But if you wanted to go even higher up on the scale, if you didn't want a devil to just have this kind of power over what is a very fundamental part of the story, which I don't know why you wouldn't, considering we already have a devil which can fundamentally rewrite reality, but each to their own. I could also see contract being enforced by a great cosmic force, one which is beyond the idea of devils, perhaps the closest thing to God in the setting, but rather than being a sentient, living and thinking thing, it just is the force which binds the universe, which makes the rules, and which is ever changing as the chainsaw keeps biting into it. What I'm trying to say here is that I really don't want there to be an actual God in this setting, or an almighty being which governs everything. I don't want angels and holy powers stepping up to the plate, at least not as it is currently. Maybe in the future my mind will change. But that has been my theory on devil contracts, and I have been the Anonymous Weeb. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like. If you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. If you want to tell me your own theory, or just to say my idea was dumb, feel free to go down into the comments and tell me all about it. And so, I wish you a good day or night wherever you are.